Blast me to the Ramesses system. It's time for the Bad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. Issue 83, full coverage. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. So today we're taking a look at issue 83 and our third and final Paragon Warsuit. And as you can see, I have both the frame and the completed model there. That's because I picked up duplicates, as I've mentioned before. So I can add these to my personal Adeptus Sororitas collection, where I plan to have a unit of 3 with each weapon, ranged weapon configuration. Suitable secondary ranged weapons depending on the equipment they have, and melee weapons, again, possibly dependent on the other equipment they have. So, for instance, perhaps the multi-melter squad will go with the power mauls for the extra strength and the rocket pads there for the chance to do some extra damage with some high AP. But that's it for then. So before we get into the issue, don't forget to, of course, like the video if you are enjoying the content, and why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to, of course, check the links in the description down below, which include my Patreon page. And finally, drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from everybody, and it helps the channel out greatly, and much appreciated. Right, let's go vertical. We'll have a look at the frame first, go through the issue, and then I'll give you a close-up look on the finished model. So just like the other two, the model comes with a 50mm round base here, so very handy. And here is the frame. As you can see, pretty much a similar setup to the previous ones. We do have an alternate front here for the champion, which this model will make. We also have an alternate icon on the top there with candles for the champion. And we have a specific champion head, which is 122, but we also have 3 other heads which you can utilize if you want to make up a regular Paragon. Though I think now in 10th they can only be taken as units of 3, and you can't take them as what they used to be up to units of 6. But either way, we do have a rather awesome looking model here. We also have an alternate helmeted head for the champion, if you so chose, with a little sort of crown motif going around her helmet there. But yeah, otherwise it is just pretty much a regular sort of Paragon Warsuit. I have the same weapon options, so War Mace, War Sword, Multi-Melter Flamer, or Heavy Bolter there. But like I said, you can easily make up one or the other out of this. So either a regular sister or a champion. And of course we have that extra sword on the second one's frame in order to make the champion stand out a little bit more. So there's the underside, not much to write home about. It's all the connection points, but just so you can get a good look at each component there. So that's that for the frame. Let's take a look then through issue 83. Here we have the magazine then for issue 83 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium. So we complete our Warsuit unit, we read more about the Eldari, and we get to deploy them finally. But if, like me, you're trying to complete the collection before you play in the campaign, you can deploy them whenever you so choose. But we have our build and paint guide for the Paragon Superior, and our mission is a return to Electia, so a very Battle Sister focused mission. So going into the issue then, our full contents is Obelisk and Lyrak Part 4, Eldari Mythology, and The Serpent Strikes, a short story featuring the Eldari. As usual then, we have our build and paint guide for the Paragon Warsuits Superior, and we have Scouring Electia for our campaign mission. Moving on then with the Phase 4 of Obelisk and Lyrak then. So we see Typhus and the Death Guard moving more and more against the Titans and the Forge World of Metallica. They are also boosted by the unwanted but appreciated alliance of Khorne. And yeah, they continue to put pressure on General Kling's Macro Sanctum, pushing deeper and deeper into the Obelisk sector. And here we have a map featuring the actual battle for the Macro Sanctum Primus here, and all the different points here occurring as the battle progressed. So yeah, we're coming to the end of the campaign shortly, so we'll be able to find out the end results. But this is also part to do with the mini campaign system they did, Warzone, Metallica, and there's another one as well that featured some nice additional ways to play your armies and gave you a nice thematic sort of campaign. So yeah, the first book I believe had rules for the Death Guard, the Mechanicum under Metallica, and there's a couple of other factions, but I can't quite remember them. But yeah, more and more about the conquest of Metallica. Moving on then, we got the Eldari mythology. So the history of the Eldari civilization stretches back into the distant past. It has become ever more difficult for the outsider to tell myth and legend from history. I have made it my goal to glean as much as I can from their tales of gods and heroes. So this is another continuation for the Inquisitorial Report on the Eldari by Inquisitor Gallius Shan. So yeah, this starts off focusing on the different gods of the Eldari, most notably Asgion the warrior, Cain the bloody-handed, Vol the smith, Morai Haig the goddess of fate, Yniad, who holds most greatest significance recently, as his avatar has been brought into reality. We got the death of Eldernash, so the greatest hero within the Eldari is Eldernash. So his followers were amongst the first of the Eldari granted life by Asgion, and pretty much they formed the basis of the craft worlds that are around today. Some of the other gods here are Aisha, Kronos, the god of hunts. Aisha is god of life and healing. Yeah. And then we have the fall, so this is during the time of Slaanesh. So Cain's belief that the Eldari race would be responsible for his own demise would eventually come true. The Eldari race, long-lived and powerful, established an empire that spanned the stars. Yet they became corrupted by their own might, abandoning artifice and craft to pursue pleasure and excess. And yeah, that's how Slaanesh came into being, much to Cain's disdain. Next up then, we got another short story, this time featuring Samhan Eldar facing off against the Space Marines, the Ultramarines. The hunting plains of the maiden world Mon Farad have long been defended by the warriors of Craftworld Samhan. Human interlopers have trespassed upon the pristine, fertile place. If they will not leave willingly, they must be exterminated. So, if I remember correctly, this features jet bikers and a Viper jet bike racing across the battlefield, taking down Space Marines as they go. And it's a really nice, longish story. And we get to see a good bit of Space Marine against Eldar action with some extra information like the Eldari Shuriken weapons featured here. And then at the end, we have a bit of a duel here between a lieutenant and a spirit seer. And then we have an autarch of Sam Hahn there. Yeah, really good read. Moving on, then we got our build guide. So we have the same sort of notification we had last issue, where we got that special component we'll need from last frame. But building her is pretty much the same as the other two. We do have those few unique icons. So we've got the little crest icon there and the head, of course, to help distinguish that she is the Sister Superior of the unit. And then, of course, we have that really nice looking relic sword, but you can also arm her with a war mace as well. And there we show her with a war mace and actually a multi-melter instead of the heavy flamer. Moving on to our paint guide, again it's much the same as the last one, but we do have a few extra Superior exclusive bits. So like the candles, we're painting the melted wax with corn red. Got loads of the same details as the previous models, so just take your time working your way around the model. She does have some extra icons on because of her position. So she has a Purity Seal and a Chaplet Ecclesiarchus there. Highlighting the candles with Wild Rider Red there, just to help accentuate the melting wax. And then we're painting the tops of the flames with Euro Yellow, and we have a tutorial on how to paint eyes now, so go back and do your other bareheaded one if you haven't already. And then we got the same tutorial for doing the hazard stripes, so yeah. And there's our completed gallery model. So yeah, looking really fancy and ready to take her to battlefield, where they are going to reclaim Electia. So this is the scouring of Electia. So we got the destroyer cults are still lurking around on the planet, and we have the Canoness leading the force and reclaiming the lost planet of Electia. So in this rule, we set up the terrain here. So one set of the ruins in a rectangle 13 by 22 inches. This is the shrine where we are hoping to reach and reconsecrate. So the mission rules: the Holy War. In this mission, the Imperium player is the attacker and player B. Imperium player's army must include the Canoness and at least one other Adeptus Sororitas unit. But if you're taking one, you might as well take all, especially for 75 power. The inside back cover of this issue has a cutout, which is incorrect actually. It's just they want you to use that. So yeah, just use the terrain. There is no, as you can see, there's no cutout section. And at the end of each player's command phase, a player whose turn it is scores 10 points for each of these conditions for a maximum of 30, so they control one objective, 2 or more, and control more objectives than their opponent. Secondary objectives: player B must take the Reach the Shrine objective. So Canoness must end the game wholly within the shrine, and if they do, player scores 15 bonus points for that. So yeah. It's a big game, we're using all the mats, so if you wanted to cut the power down to 50 and just use 2 mats, you could probably get a similar game played. But moving on to the next issues then, so issue 84, we get a brand new model for the Scutari, and there will be a bit of a ramble about this particular model in the video itself. And in issue 85, we get a new model for the Necrons in the form of the Hexmark Destroyer. So rather really cool Necron model. 6 pistols, 3 legs, and a whole bunch of eyes. So yeah, she's, well, in the game I play, it is a she, but it's a robot. But yeah, once a destroyer. Actually, no, it was once a death mark, but has been taken over by the Destroyer Cult Curse, and so now wants all the guns all the time. Right, finally then, let's take a look at the completed Superior model. So here we have our completed Sister Superior. And yeah, much like the other ones, I kind of rushed it towards the end, and some of the lines are a little on the chunky side. But I do think she looks quite nice. I was kind of tempted to paint the inside of the sword in a different colour just to help it stand out. I might go back and do that. Maybe Rune Lord Brass will look nice. But there's her back. As you can see, those stripes aren't the easiest to do, especially getting them evenly spaced. I've got a few here where it's bunched up way too many in one place. Some here I haven't finished the complete gap, finished connecting up the stripes. And yeah, definitely have to go back and redo these models at some time, but they look good for the moment and will be very much seen play on the campaign. But yeah, definitely, as I mentioned before, I'm leaving the arms off when I do my own models, just to make reaching all that underneath detail a lot easier, and same for the pipes, getting these out of the way. So if I leave the arm and that ammo feed off, gluing it all together here, then I can just glue it down afterwards. So yeah, using a little bit of sticky tack to cover up the contact areas. Yeah. Right, I'll bring in the rest of her unit and I will sign off. So there we have them all together again, and yeah, they look fantastic. Can't wait to try these out on the battlefield. As I've mentioned a couple of times before, I'm not too sure how I'm going to be playing the campaign yet, whether I will keep using 9th edition with the magazine, or whether I will use it as a way to get practice in for learning the rules on 10th edition. Although I've had one game of 10th edition so far for the Battle of Ogram. I'd played a combat patrol game using my Leviathan box set and submitted my results. The Tyranids won, even though the Space Marines did a fair bit of damage to them, but they managed to consume everything. But yeah, there we have it. That's it for the first 3 issues of Imperium, almost said Conquest then. And yeah, we have a really cool unit to add to our Adeptus Sororitas force. And I'm looking forward to trying these out on the battlefield. So, all that's left is to say thank you all for watching, and I'll be back for more Imperium in the next video. So thank you again, and goodbye.